we are on item 17, which we're bringing forward. It's right there. I am happy to move it from the chair, and Victoria's happy to second it. And we've added in a little bit that Pauline's put in about requesting that any minutes from the meetings going forward are made public.
And the meetings are public.
All right. Okay, so we've moved and seconded it. I'll ask Andrew to talk to it, and then I may ask Tanya to have a few words if she wants to, please. We'll ask.
Kia ora, thank you. I'm just trying to get my computer open. I'll just shoot from the hip here. Okay, so obviously this has been going on for some time. We've had the establishment committee was operating for approximately 2 years. At the conclusion of that process, the way forward was put to council in around about January, February last year. That was a two-stage approach. The first stage being a committee of council, which is the decision in front of you now in regard to the terms of reference for that committee. The structure of the co-governance or the governance was debated and decided upon in that meeting. So we're essentially looking at the terms of reference. The construct of the terms of reference is to delegate all of the powers that council would normally hold as a full committee or a committee of council to the co-governance, with the exception only of decisions that cannot be made legally by a committee of council that would have to come back to a full council. So that's essentially what the terms of reference cover, is to get this committee of council up and running so they can start delivering, so they can start making the decisions about how the corridor moves forward. It's all underpinned by the work that was done by the establishment committee, in particular the framework that would be required for decisions to be made, which was agreed between all parties at that time. So I think I'll stop there and open to questions.
Okay, well, first of all, Andrew, I'll invite Tanya to come up and have a few words if you so desire. Very good to see you.
Not many say that. E te rau rangatira mā, e te kaunihira o tautahi, mihi mai. Nā mihi for letting me to have a say here. As you can appreciate, I'm not an often visitor to the council, but this was super important to ngai tuahuriri, and especially in partnership with council. So just for those who don't know me, kia ora, my name is Tania Wati. I'm the elected chair of Te Ngai Tuahuriri Runanga, and I'm here to represent my community and all community. My personal view on this is I also have a property in Dallington and attend sometimes some community group meetings, but it doesn't take away the responsibility of all areas of o tautahi for tuahuriri. I want to be clearer to say we have worked and listened and heard the community, but I also have to consider, as myself being an elected member with the same type of election process as councils, that actually Kelly and Yanni, you're here as elected member from your community. My community just doesn't get to sit on all these types of different groups. We put people there for a reason. So I think that because you guys are here to elect on behalf of your community, that would be imposed on your responsibilities, and you guys would be the ones to be attending the meetings to feed back to your constituents. So do we require more people to the group? Potentially, but not right now. And why I say not right now is because nothing has moved for any decision makings within the red zone for over a year. We haven't met for over a year, and yet, we want to keep things moving, but without this going through today, there's no opportunity of when this will come back to this decision-making forum to ensure that we do have a correct terms of reference to move forward. We are 15 years on, and I'm not saying it shouldn't be. What I'm saying is not right now. I'm not saying it's not forever, but this would be Kelly and Yanni's job, in my view, as elected representatives of their constituents, to uphold the mana of their community like it is my job to do mine. So I think there is place for everybody, but I would just prefer this to move forward for now, so we can start the ball rolling and get some excitement back in the community. Ngā mihi.
Thanks, Tony. That's very, very good.
And,
Right.
sorry, just one more comment, just in case, just so there's no confusion. This is a committee of council that follows all standing orders, public meetings. People are welcome to come and do deputations, just like they can at this table, from anyone that may be affected by anything that's on the agenda.
Okay, so we got any questions? Yeah. Fire away.
Yeah, thank you. So in the report, it mentions that in February 2025, we passed a resolution to look at the establishment of a committee as an interim decision-making body, followed by the establishment of a charitable trust. So in terms of this interim committee, in the terms of reference, I don't see any work towards that charitable trust. Are you able just to give us a sense of how the terms of reference support that resolution of setting up the charitable trust, and why that's not mentioned specifically in the terms of reference?
Is it me or you? Or do I sit back there? No.
No, you stay here. No, you're correct. The terms of reference don't reference the future charitable trusts. It could be considered an oversight. I guess the focus at the moment has been on getting back to the table so decisions can be made. There's no reason why we can't amend those terms of reference.
Is there a time frame for the charitable trust, the permanent, enduring charitable trust to be set up?
There's no fixed time frame, but most of the dialogue when we went through the establishment committee phase was around at a certain time when the major infrastructure has been completed. You know, there's some really significant flood mitigation infrastructure that needs to be implemented, and that the charitable trust approach would be when we have an enduring, long-term corridor to nurture.
I just feel like
do the infrastructure first, and that's well in advance. In terms of all of the work has now been completed for the potential granting of a fast track resource consent to enable us to start implementing now. We've done all our work in-house. It's just getting ready to go through ECAN and then before we lodge. So once we've got those principles embedded in our long-term plan, and we know exactly what we're going to deliver and how we're going to deliver it, that's an appropriate time for a charitable trust to then maybe look at phasing that in to take over the long-term management of the land and look at and the kaitiaki of the land alongside Ngāi Heriri and Council.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel that the process, we had the establishment committee, we've got an interim committee, then we've got a permanent solution.
Yes.
But it just feels very confused around who's doing what.
Yeah, Yanni, it's been answered, and I think it's been answered very well. Okay.
So then, basically, in terms of the membership, the ability to appoint community membership, if we wanted to move a resolution today, my understanding is that we would be unable to alter the membership today as part of this report. Is that correct?
I'd need a bit of technical support, but you would have to revoke the previous.
Okay, good answer.
It's a decision that's been made.
Thank you. Pauline?
Just touching on that comment around the terms of reference, and you said you could potentially amend that. Is it in the power of the committee to amend the terms of reference, or would they have to come back and recommend that to council?
Sorry, Mary, do you want to answer?
But the committee could make a recommendation.
They can make a recommendation.
So therefore, I would assume that, and confirm if I'm correct here, that if a committee was to get a deputation from someone from the community to recommend a change to the terms and they were amenable to that, they could bring that to council and change the terms of reference at that point, if the committee so wished.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And staff would then have to consider what the resource implications of any change may be,
Of
in
course.
terms of timing and development and
course.
establishment.
No, that's clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, any more? Celeste?
Kia ora. In terms of like giving feedback on where you see the process going, do you think that, would you be open to the idea of it coming back to council sort of after a review period? Because it is an interim group that's making decisions now, and whether, you know, as part of this process we could build in that kind of review of going if because I think there was some mention of bringing in that, another way of looking at bringing in that community representation as a formal role. Is that something that you would think would work as something we could reassess down the track as part of a sort of a formal review process?
Look, I'll be very clear on the technical stuff that we have worked on in the establishment phase, whether we give it its own personality, whether it's set under a different entity, whether what the enduring relationship looks like between council, mana whenua and community. We have gone through, whether it was a section 33, whether it was a section 36B, we have exhausted quite a lot of different options through talking to this. Am I always open-minded to possibilities to the future? 100%. But do I really want to seek an outcome to get outcomes? Always. Is this group on the last few years been on this long journey to better understand decision making for a community that is bare of land and dirty water? So, should we always be open to these things? Yes. Do I want to give a hard and fast here? No, because I don't. We've traversed so much different options through not even meeting, that I'm just happy for this to sit here today so we can start having what we would call the whakawhiti kōrero, or the conversations to actually get us to a space. But in light of not meeting for over a year, it's dead air and then it's a vacuum.
Thank you.
Sorry, just got another one.
Yeah, hold it a bit closer to your mouth, Celeste,
Oh,
please.
sorry. And just in regards to the councillor representation as well, obviously it's quite a big geographic area, and it's not just about which area you represent.
So as to a huriri takiwā.
Yep. So, but in terms of the Burwood representation, if the interim committee is in place for a long period of time, just wondering thoughts on revolving that representation amongst the councillors within that community board area?
Well, it's potentially the same for Tuahuriri, right? So I run a same election process. This year my throat might get slit from my own people because that's politics. So it could be somebody else that is sitting there as a chair.
Yep, so I'm just wondering whether we could maybe look at that as part of the terms of reference, whether it could be rotating amongst the 3 ward areas, and if that's an option we can look at. So just wondering...
To be fair, this is all just words in detail, because there's actually a lot of big things to happen for the future. These things can come back when we've gone and had the conversation that we're not... Now, at the moment, we're filling a vacuum of what could be without what should be. And I'm happy to traverse all these conversations once we get in a room and start having the conversation. But in light of that, we're filling a vacuum.
Just to be clear, the committee, once it's established, could, if it chose to, form a subcommittee, and it could, the membership could in future, once it was established, one of the councillors may stand down and another be appointed, or vice versa. So all those things are possible, but the committee needs to be established and get up and running first before any of those things can happen.
Yep, that's correct. Yanni, please.
Yeah, thanks. So just in terms of the delegations to this committee, is there anything that the community boards, the 2 affected community boards, would be doing that they'll no longer be doing?
Not for that particular area, no.
So how, like, how will the community boards
That's the answer.
have input into the decision making, given that they're affected?
Just the same way we do for any community board when council has the delegation. So we usually go and seek their views.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's well answered. Right. No more questions. Shall we go into discussion or debate, please? Who would like to kick it off? Right. Yanni?
Yeah, cool. So I've circulated an amendment, and I want to acknowledge the work that's happened. Although,
Where have you circulated? It's a foreshadowed motion, is it? Have you circulated it?
it's been circulated. Yeah.
So this is a foreshadowed motion, is it, Councillor Johansson, is that right?
It's a procedural motion to lie it on the table to seek feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's already moved second. It's only up to us to...
So this would be a foreshadowed motion.
Okay.
It's leaving it to lie on the table, but also requesting staff to
Okay.
do a piece of work. So that would be a foreshadowed motion.
Yeah. Okay. So just
So you're in debate now, aren't you?
yeah, cool. So in debate. So look, I really appreciate this report coming to council today. Although what's clear from reading the report is that it has an impact on community boards. It has an impact on the community. Has an impact on local wards, and although I appreciate that my name's been mentioned, actually it's not even, there's no acknowledgement in this report that the Linwood ward, the ward that I represent, is affected by the red zone when it is, and that really concerns me. That we've got a report to do something significant that people, and you would have seen the emails that were received over the course of the last day, that people want a greater degree of input into. So I feel like we need to get some greater feedback around the terms of reference. I don't understand why this report has taken so long to come to us after we made the decision almost a year ago, why nothing's been happening in the meantime. And we've heard some, I think, justified concern that things have not been happening. But I don't think that that's a reason not to get community views on this. I don't think getting community views from both the local community boards who are impacted and the community who have worked so tirelessly in this area on the terms of reference is a big ask. I don't think it's something that should take a considerable amount of time, but I only think when it's there's high interest in the community over this, and that's stated in the council report in terms of our community views section, that we should actually seek those views. I think it's incumbent on us. I recall going to an earthquake symposium several years after the earthquake, and the most important thing that was raised in terms of a lesson learned was it was about the people, the people, the people. It was about putting people at the heart of the recovery and at the response. And my concern with adopting the terms of reference today is that we're failing on that step on a number of areas which I've outlined. So, my view has always been that we should have community representation on this committee. I appreciate we've lost that vote as a council, but I do think it's incumbent on looking at the interim decision making, which I think is more of an enduring decision making for quite a while, that we do get some community feedback on it.
Okay, right. I want to put the substantive motion to the vote and see where that's at, and that will lead us on to what happens next. So we'll use the votendo thing, please, ladies and gentlemen. Bear in mind, this as Tanya said, 15 years, and we've done nothing. Or there has been a lot of good work happen, but this will be... Yes, I have. Who have we got, Sam?
David, Councillor Carter.
Okay. We're all done. It's all closed. Look at that. That is approved. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for coming. Well done.